They're like, hey, we need you guys to come down. You need to come down to Hickory. We're going to put you in a back room and we're going to have a session where we talk about the plans of the future and we work out a few ideas. So we go to this meeting and Ryan and I are sitting there and, Ryan and I, we're younger. So I was mid 30s, you're or late 30s, early 40s. And we was just me and you. So like, dude, let's get a Mustang. We were at the airport. We're like, let's get a Mustang. And we're bigger. I'm a bigger guy. So, I mean, that's already tight. So we get this red fire Mustang. And we flew into Charlotte and Hickory's about an hour north. So we rip up in this Mustang. And for those of you who don't understand, Ryan is not the best of drivers. I've seen you personally commit 40 traffic violations on the way to Pittsburgh and only get pulled over on the way home at our hometown. So, like, it's always questionable. So that day it was raining and you're ripping. I think you're doing 92. And when I asked you about it, you're like, well, you know what, Doug? As long as I stay in my lane and it is a express highway, we should be good. So we get there in like 45 minutes into Hickory. So we get in there and we're in the meeting and they get through all this stuff. And then Martin, part of the thing is reward. They had a couple of other independent grocers there. Part of the thing is Martin would spend 10 minutes with everybody talking about your brand. And I remember Ryan was there and you were there and you were like, hey, so, here's what we do. And he's like, that's good. He's like, so what's your mantra? What's your, all those guys are like, what's your thing? And you were like, hashtag save on meat. And he was like, no. He's like, what's your thing? Why do people want to shop your store over every other competitor? And you're like, because we can't do without them. He's like, that's it. He's like, and you're like, well, I say at the end of every video, he's like, say it more. You're like, but people are gonna get nauseous and they don't want to hear it. He's like, say it more. He's like, you say it until they throw up. And I remember that. I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So then the meeting kind of goes and the box lunches and everything else, and they let us loose. And so I remember walking out to the parking lot, and the owner of of this wholesaler company is driving off on literally, I think it was a Hyundai Kia, or whatever. It was like it drives off in a Kia, like the Gold Digger song. It's so funny. Billionaire driving off in a Kia. And all of a sudden, Martin was like, hey, do you guys mind if I ride you to the airport? I'm like, we're going to take the guy that we all flew down to Hickory for. We're going to shove him in the back of this Mustang and then a rainstorm and let Ryan drive to the airport. So we're in the car. And I mean, like, Ryan's like, he's cutting people off. He's outrunning police officers. I think 2 people had to go into the berm. I mean, it was a wild ride. And meanwhile, I'm trying to hold composure. And Martin's like, and I think he's Swedish. He's like, all right, boys, we're going to talk about your future. It's going to be great. We're going to do this thing. We're going to have a pilot episode. And Ryan's like, this sounds great. And I mean, literally, it was the most terrifying and coolest moment of my life. So we get the whole way to the airport. We drop him off at his gate, and Ryan and I get there, and he's like, hey, boys, I just want to tell you, we're going to start shooting a podcast. We're going to have a show. And I was like, wow, a show. We're going to be like the Pawn Star Redneck Grocers. This is great. So we're all excited, and this is like early 2020. And for all you know, all of a sudden, we start shooting. Episodes. At this point, we didn't have Saxonburg yet, so we're getting Saxonburg ready. And then March 16th happens, where the White House issues 15 days to slow the spread. And then not too long after, the 17th, Pennsylvania closed down the state. So COVID hits full bore.